Well, you're still here on Prime Morning, and it's time to bring you a news flash. Of course, we're taking a look at all of the big stories in our dailies today. So I would go straight into the issues right here. And of course, we'll be doing some analysis on some of the stories as well, as we always do. So we're glad to have you as we go along with these stories. Of course, one of the biggest stories we're tackling today is that of our teachers and the segment of about 6,000, teachers who have been, who are still unpaid in the midst of all the good news that has come from His Excellency the President. So we'll be looking at all of that and looking at the reality on the ground for some of these teachers, as has been put very aptly by Kwekwa Sante on the fellow Ghanaians segment. All right, so we'll start off with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Now, the Ghanaian Times newspaper has three lead stories, and the main story is also a takeout from the event that was held yesterday with the Ghana National Teachers, the Ghana National Association of Teachers. Now, it says strict invigilation won't be compromised. The issue of invigilation is that has always come up with our exams and the conversations about how credible the results that come out also are. All right, so President John Dramani Mahama has been highlighting the issue of, strict invigilation. And just interestingly, yesterday I was driving by cantonments on the Switchback Road, and I was just taking a look at the Sichi Asare Menako Hall and what led to the naming of that hall of WAEC, or that examinations hall next to the DVLA head office by WAEC, was that Sichi Asare Menako of blessed memory was an invigilator who met his untimely death during an examination where he was vigilant and did not want students to, engage in malpractices. They ganged up, beat him up, and that led to his untimely death. This also led to, the naming of the hall after him. And so this obviously is one which is a very, very important subject when it comes to issues of our examinations and how students generally across the country, students and pupils are positioned, how well positioned their minds are regarding, examinations, and how well they are primed to sit in the exam and write what they've learned and not try to turn a neck and, engage in malpractices. All right, so President John Dramani Mahama says that government would work with teacher unions to undertake reforms across all levels of education to adequately prepare Ghanaian children for the future. Now, he noted that cheating in examination at the senior high level, particularly over some years now, was deliberate to embellish the performance of certain batches of graduates to make some people look good. All right, so that's the lead story on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Also, passengers stranded in Accra. No buses to convey travelers, to work as work and school resumes. Okay, so this is a very, very worrying subject, considering the fact that we have some transportation hubs in Accra, not too far from the multimedia headquarters here in Kokomlimle. You have the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, hub, and then you also have the Kaneshi hub. Now, the Kaneshi hub takes care of, the central and western part of the country. Of course, the Circle hub also takes care of, the eastern corridor, the Ashanti region, and other parts of the country. And normally around this time, there's a very heavy demand for long distance travel into, some of the towns and villages in our countries, especially because people want to go and, celebrate the Yuletide with their families. And this always results in this kind of, problem. Now, the question is, how are we able to overcome this? Because obviously, this has a very big effect on productivity generally, across board. And this is something that needs to be addressed. So all of the transport unions, what's the solution? I'm sure that with this reoccurring, the question we're asking ourselves is, how are they able to put a plan in place to ensure that they are bridging that gap so that we don't have this kind of problem reoccurring at the start of the year. Also, Otumfuo Tutu pays a historic visit to the IGP today. Well, the Asante or the Otumfuo will be paying a historic visit to the Inspector General of Police at the police headquarters later today. And obviously that will be heralded with a lot of ceremony, and that would obviously be a very beautiful one to see. The government chair will be the guest of honor as well for this ceremony. And the key thing here as well is that we're asking ourselves how well traditional authority are collaborating with the police to ensure, law and order, or ensuring law and order in our towns, our cities, and our villages across the country. How well are the police resourced to ensure that some of, these areas within our country are adequately policed? I do remember that the IGP in December ordered that all policemen work throughout the Yuletide, and that means that there are arrears for them when it comes to rest and taking time off work. So we'll be monitoring that, and of course we'll be bringing you all of the images on tomorrow's edition of the show. All right, so I'll be introducing my guests here in the studio very shortly, but let me just quickly run through the other headlines in the newspapers. Now, SMG condemns, this is from the Inside newspaper, and it says SMG condemns U.S. aggression on Venezuela and calls for global action for deepening crisis. And it also says Ghana worried over U.S. military invasion of Venezuela and calls for peace, calls for release of Maduro. Another story there is also, the removal, and now Mamprogu Traditional Council slams removal of Bokunaba. All right, so remember, this is a running story, and this is coming on the heels of the president receiving a report, a comprehensive report by the Asante, who was tasked to mediate between the feuding parties. And of course, based on the findings and based on the recommendations that were made, one party obviously was not happy with all that has come up. So we're seeing a lot in terms of other angles to this particular story. Now, economic stability boosts auto business as inflation drops, and this is according to the CEO of Irata Motors. Now, we'll do the Chronicle as well and review the stories in there. The lead story on the Chronicle newspaper for today is Dombo family backs Brian Echampong. So Dr. Brian Echampong has received a smock, from the party people that is symbolic of the SD Dombo element within the NPP, saying that they are, backing him. Now, we'll go into the details of that story. The background to all of this is that there are founding fathers and founding blocks of the New Patriotic Party and their political tradition. And SD Dombo is one of them. Now, his family, according to this story by the Chronicle, it's found on pages 2 and 3, say that they are backing Dr. Brian Echampong for the upcoming primaries of the New Patriotic Party on the 31st of January. Also, IKJC, the grammarian, passes on. Now, IKJC was a seasoned columnist for the Chronicle newspaper. He was also honored in some previous editions of the Ghana Journalists Association's awards. And remember that IKJC was also an educationist, a seasoned educationist at that, and he was the headmaster of T.I. Ahmadiyya Secondary School. Now, the Catalyst says that the cedi ranks second best currency in the world in 2025. Gold-fueled rally transforms Ghana's economy, setting new model for Africa. So the conversation about the gold board and what it does when it comes to currency stabilization is very, very, very important. And we're going to be going into that very shortly. So we'll start off with the stories here on the Ghanaian Times. And obviously the fallouts or the takeouts from the Congress that was held yesterday and headlined by His Excellency, the President. He brought some good news to the teachers. Not everybody is satisfied because there are some 6,000 teachers who also held a news conference to voice out what their problems are. And of course, like I said earlier, we had a bit of that background and a close feel of what these teachers are going through on a daily basis after that news conference. And, it takes us close to the stories and takes us closer to these teachers and what their realities are, their daily realities are. Our colleagues had some interviews with some of them. We're playing some of them back to you later on in the show. But the key thing here is that there are some 6,000 of them who also need to be taken care of. But the good big sigh of relief is the announcement of the bulk sums of money that will be taking care of salaries and a pension structure that would ensure that our teachers are taken care of adequately, especially those who are also going into pension. All right, so my guests are already seated. We'll get into the conversations now. You're still here on Prime Morning. And gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here this morning. It's good to have you.
Good to see you. Good morning.
Yeah. Would be getting into the stories. Let's begin with the Ghanaian Times. The lead story talks about strict invigilation, and this is something that has always come up. It's something that has always come up over the last couple of years. I gave the example of so many years ago when Sicha Sarimenako, a dedicated invigilator under WAEC, went to work one morning, decided to do his work, and the students those who were going to write the exam said, "No way, we have to cheat," and they beat him up. And he met his untimely death. And this seems to be something that has always run across. We've had papers cancelled. We've had exposés of how some parents are even involved in buying, what they see as a poor and questions for their awards to go and pass the exams.
Well, let me say good morning to your viewers and to Ghanaians and to all the teachers. I want to say good morning to them. I know we'll come to that later. But this issue of invigilation is a very important issue and a very sensitive matter also. Of course, it is important that we ensure there's integrity in our examination system because it's out of that integrity that we can get the best quality of students that this country deserves. And so in any time, we should ensure that examinations are well invigilated and the marks or scores that students obtain at the end of the results are a true reflection of their own effort and not that they got some other ways to cheat to be able to get those grades. For me, I think we really need a lot of sensitization to students in their preparation to exams. Because if you prepare well, if you study your books well, if you do all your assignments and group studies and everything, you don't need to cheat. You need to prepare yourself. If you don't prepare yourself, that's when you get to a point where you think that there's nothing that you can do other than cheating or finding other means to cheat. I have a very unique experience myself. When we were writing our senior high school examination, we had one of our paper cancelled because. What
was the reason?
That there was a leakage or kind of a and we had to rewrite that paper. I think it was the English paper then, and we had to rewrite the entire paper again. And just out of few students engaging in this, the rest of the students have to resit this paper. So I think we really have to do something about this. If we want to produce students who have integrity, if we want to produce students who believe in themselves and have confidence in what they are able to do, we really need to deal with this issue once and for all. It's surprising that at times parents even get involved. Why would a parent be interested in buying or in getting examination whatever for their kids? If it means that you fail to train the kid properly. You fail to supervise the kid throughout the years of preparation.
That also then goes to even tell us about the kind of fabric we're growing as a society.
Exactly. It tells exactly the kind of kids we are training. I mean, we are telling them that there are many ways you can get to pass your exam, so there's no point. That's what we are instilling in them. And I think if you are a parent watching us, this is something that we should not encourage. I'm very sure that no parent wants their kid to grow up and become a very dishonest person in life. And it starts with this kind of training. If you introduce the kid at this early stage of their life to cheating, then we are basically grooming thieves and criminals and people who lack moral fabric, moral integrity in our society going forward. So I think we have to deal with it. But beyond that, I think the Examination Council have to improve. This approach of invigilating students has been there for years. We have to also upgrade. Now there are different ways of organizing examination that would not even require an invigilator, yet students cannot cheat. There are ways of setting the questions in a way that if you are answering question 1, the person next to you is probably answering question 10. So in any attempt to cheat, you are going to completely write rubbish. So I think there are ways to address this issue, and the Examination Council should take advantage of new technology and to deal with this issue, but also sensitize students from the onset. Once they get into senior high school or junior high school, they should be constantly reminded that this is a preparatory ground for them, for their future. And whatever effort they put here is going to yield up to them becoming responsible citizens of this country. So I think we really have to tackle this issue from all angles. I don't know how these kids now have this moral resilience and believe that they can do anything and get away with it. Recently, I saw a video of a teacher being accosted and beaten for not allowing students to cheat. I mean, you couldn't imagine that this will happen in Ghana. I don't know how they got that courage and sat down to plan as a group of students that they need to attack a teacher. Somebody who is trying to prepare you for life. Somebody who is giving you his time, his energy amidst the low service conditions or poor service conditions. And yet, instead of appreciating this person, you accost the person and beat the person. I think we really need to talk to our kids and get them up in terms of their moral standing. Otherwise, this country would fall into troubles in the future. So that's my initial comments on this matter.
Dr. Raymond Ayulu is a lecturer and an economist representing the MPP, and also Bashir Ramantana is a national communications team member of the NDC. Also joining us this morning for the segment is Janet Nabla, who is the presidential candidate of the People's National Party, PNP. All right, so, Madam, welcome once again. Good to see you. You look lovely this morning.
Oh, thank you so much.
Bashir, well,
Did you say Doc is representing the NPP?
On a very light note, the color of his suit gives him away.
All right, that's fine.
And aren't you happy to see this color, this kind of color here, kind of green?
I am so happy.
So you should be recruiting here by now.
All right, that's fine.
When we finish the show, you should start having the conversation.
I understand. It's
your brief comments as well on this particular matter of our teachers and
I wouldn't want to say much on this particular issue because it's been digested. It's been spoken about severally, and I think the government has come and has pointed their eyes to a certain level to reform the educational sector. But I want to tell parents and all of us that it is high time that we know, or we get to understand, that we need to train intellectuals, not thieves. And the beginning of who an intellectual will be is how you train the person. As to whether you train the person well will mean that the person will become an intellectual one day. If you don't train the person well, definitely the person will become a thief. Why do we have people that think that they can misbehave with figures and be able to concoct figures to be able to get monies or something out of that? It is because they are not well trained. That is my position. So I think that parents need to know, teachers need to know, and we need to understand that we need to be training intellectuals instead of training thieves. And training intellectuals means that we need to properly invigilate them and make sure that they put on paper what they know, not what they have seen from somebody's script, or not what somebody has shown to them at a time or point in which the person is writing an examination. It's sad. that there was a government that thought that, or that felt that it just to study, past papers or past questions, and to go and write an examination. Trying to point out the points that students should focus on issues of what? Past questions to go and write examination. You see, that psychs the child and tells the child, especially from whom it is coming from. If it's coming from persons like myself and you, sorry to say myself here, you can say it's in a lighter note. But a person like the president saying that study past questions and you pass, it calls for worry. There are countries that we have studied about countries that they say, no, education is a vital point in our economic system. The development of our nation is anchored on education. If you don't have the education, that means that you are failing. At any level of it is education.
But the thing about past questions is that it is one of the most effective ways of preparing yourself, because you get to learn about patterns, you get to learn about formats of asking questions, and the more you accustom yourself with answering past questions, you're able to. And I'm sure if you go across the table, we've all experienced that before.
Every student, even including myself, I have studied past questions before, and I still do study past questions. But do not let it look as if past questions are the only way you can learn.
Did the president say that?
Oh, but if you say learn past questions, did you hear the president saying that learn your books, after that you learn past questions? The president did not say that.
Okay, did he categorically say that learning or studying your past questions is the only way?
He said learn past questions and you pass. The government invested in buying past questions. The NPP government invested in buying past questions for students. Have you seen any government investing in past questions? So I know why myself and you here knows that as for past questions, we get to get our past questions ourselves. At every level, the JHS level, the SS level, the university level, we got to buy our past questions ourselves, study and go to pass. Nobody says that go and learn only the books or the QLS and go to pass. You definitely would have to look around the past questions and know how
it's one of them.
Yes, those questions are being are being set, and how and the manner in which you are going to use to solve those questions. It's not bad, but not to put in the minds of the child that go and learn past questions. You see, like I was saying, education from the backbone. Whether you're a carpenter, it's a teacher that teaches you. Whether you are a mason, it's a teacher that teaches you. In a way, your master becomes your teacher. And so once education is the backbone of every economy, we need to focus on it. And I think that we should separate education from the government system. Let's allow education for what? For intellectuals to run it. So that nobody will come and say that, Ato was the president and he was able to do A, B, and C. Let's see the intellectuals being in it, working assiduously to make sure that something reasonable comes out of it. You see, the issue of free education, nobody ever said that free education was a bad thing. But then, the way and how it was rolled out, the methodology that was used to roll out free education was what people were talking about. You get even parents talking about it. Even the then finance minister said, no, that was not how it was supposed to be run. But you see, because of political reason, because there was a promise that was made, and the promise had to be fulfilled by all means. And so it was rolled out anyhow. And that is where it landed us.
So you are suggesting that the rollout of the free SHS.
What's the problem?
Okay, so are you saying that is a causative factor for the decline in performance in our exams?
It is a cause because you have a student now that gets a grade 34. A student that gets a grade 49.
Haven't we had students who have had a grade 34?
Let me make my point.
No, I'm just asking a simple question.
When myself and you were at school, when you complete JHS and you have a grade 7 in any of the course subjects, do you go to school? You have to go back and rewrite. Then, when you get a grade 7 in any of the course subjects, you have to go back and rewrite. But today, people are getting 8 in core subjects, and they're going to school. Training the mind is redundancy. When you continue to do it and do it, that's how you train the mind. There are students who failed mathematics, who failed English, who failed social studies, who failed science. They went back, wrote, and they are professors now. So failing in an examination does not mean that you are a failure in the entire life of yours. And so you have to go to school with a 8. I mean, 8 in a core subject. You, Ato. Excuse me. Ato, thank you. Excuse me to say, or let me use you as an example. Would you, in your whole heart, would you allow your child to get 8 or 9 in a core subject, and you'll be happy that the child goes to school? Why don't you allow the child to go back, at least write, massage the results again, and go back to the school?
All right, now, you've raised a very important point. Madam Nabla, that's where I bring you in. Do we have a problem at the foundational level? Because, I mean, from what you hear from these two submissions, this is something that, this thing about exam malpractice is something that has grown on us over the years, and it's something that has been fed into our system by various elements of society, up to this point. And so, where do we start cleaning up?
Let me greet you. Let me greet my co-panelists, and let me also greet your viewers this morning, and all PMP people who are also watching us. When they talk about examination malpractices at times, and then they try to blame students for it, I see it as unfair, because these children, it usually starts from JHS. They are children. The Bible says that we should train a child the way the child is supposed to be, so that when the child grows up, the child will never depart from it. The child has parents. The child is in the hands of teachers in the school. If there is the avenues that we have created, our religious leaders, we have parents, we have teachers, none of these three are corrupt. The child can never be corrupt. How? These three institutions will have to be corrupt to be able to affect the child to be corrupt. So you now look at the children when they are in school, especially JHS. Do you know that they teach them to the extent of, they teach them how to be able to copy. They tell them how to be able to turn like this to talk to their the one at your back without the invigilator.
And this is happening where specifically?
The teachers.
But in which parts of the country?
In Ghana here.
But in which parts of the country?
When you say part of the country, Accra here. Accra.
That teachers are teaching children how to turn their necks
at the private,
look over? At
the private, I don't know the government sector, but the private schools, the teachers teach the children.
And there is evidence of this? You have it?
Oh, I don't know, because for the sake of the school, I won't do that, because they've done nothing to me and I should not be going there. But what I am saying is the gospel truth. We are not supposed to lie. But teachers have taught our children to the extent of teaching them how to be able to
so
turn.
What I just want to clarify here is, Madam Nabla, what I'm just trying to clarify here is that you're saying that there are private schools in Accra
that teaches children after they are done with everything.
When did you become aware of this?
That was about 3 years ago. I wrote, because when you go to the media, I wrote an article telling the MPP government
at
to
the time.
put more invigilation, more competent people to invigilate, because this is what is happening, and we don't want our children to become to pass in examinations that they are not supposed to.
But did you make any attempts to have this reported? Because that is...
I'd never reported, because as I told you, I remember I did an audio on several occasions to give it to the people that I knew did it on several occasions, to tell them that you cannot teach somebody that love God, do this, integrity, and then do this at the same time. It doesn't just work. So what I'm saying is this: when we talk about examination malpractices in this country, I see people hitting on students as unfair, so unfair, because a doctor told me something. When you give birth to a child, the child doesn't know the taste of salt and sugar. So when you give the child cocoa without sugar, the child will drink it, and if you continue, the child will not know the taste of sugar. It takes the parent to add sugar and other things to let the child know that. The children can never be blamed on this. Blaming the children means you don't want to solve the problem. All people who don't want to solve problem and always want to do a knee-jerk approach, use a knee-jerk approach, usually come out to just blame students. How do you blame an 11-year-old child, a 12-year-old child? Those who went to the university, those who are in SHS, how do you blame them? No, who are the invigilators? If the invigilators are competent and they are doing their work well, can somebody be able to copy in the class? No, how can you copy? The invigilator is supposed to be going role by role. It's not only one person. It is the invigilators that they usually bribe, and they collect the bribe and allow the students to copy. What are we saying in this country?
Okay.
Why is it that we don't want the truth? When we see the truth, we will pass through a different direction. No students should be blamed over here. No student. The invigilators, who are usually the invigilators? Are you an invigilator?
No, I'm not.
Mostly they are teachers. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all what I'm saying is that, and then they tell you that, and the children, and they don't study. What? I took my child to a school, and there is a teacher who is supposed to train my child to be able to write examination and pass. When a teacher is not able to do that, I blame the teacher. Do you get what I'm saying? So if children failed in examination, what it means is that the teachers did not perform. It is not who teaches the child to be able to perform. Is it not the teacher? So when the government, who knew that maybe he has done something, he knew, maybe the teachers told him something, he didn't do it. As a result, the children failed. And he doesn't want to hit on the teachers because they will expose him. So he tried to collaborate with the teachers. And there's a children. What are you talking about? The children should not be mentioned here. We know that they have their part, but their part can be 20% or 30%. The problem here...
Talk about parts. I think that as a society as well, we all have a responsibility to ensure that we, So, Madam Nabla, where the feedback would come is that I trust that information that came to you a couple of years ago, you should have put it out there so that we name and shame. Because if we're sitting here...
You see, when you are talking to me about naming and shaming, it pains me a lot. When you know that what I'm saying, you've seen, and you know. No, Madam Nabla, no. Personally, I haven't seen any of this. And what I'm saying is that you've heard.
No, this is news to me. Now, what we do here is that once we're saying something on authority, then we must provide the proof.
You know something?
And this is an alarming.
Some of your reporters.
Before you go on, this is alarming information.
Yeah.
And to sit back and say we don't want to name and shame, then we also compound the problem.
Look.
And so what I'm saying is that, if any of us found this information and we didn't put it out there, then we'll be helping those who are perpetrating the wrong.
And I'm saying that some of your reporters, when they are going to write the examination, go into the examination centers to monitor. Through their monitoring, they know what is going on. They know. I remember some time ago.
But you also know what's going on.
Wait.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember some time ago, I called a reporter.
Where? Here in this media house?
City.
Okay.
And took the reporter to a school at Kwabinya and told the reporter, they said basic schools, they don't pay examination, they don't pay. This school collects 650 Ghana cedis for admission. The reporter was there when they were collecting the money. The reporter went there and said, Madam, you are not supposed to. Then the reporter reported the case to Ghana Education Service. Ghana Education Service, we had the one who is head of the president or chairman of GS, he's a reverend minister. They called for a meeting and asked me to come to the meeting to testify because I was there with the reporter. Do you know that they never told me about the meeting? They connived and said they have called me. I've not picked the call. Look, so the director was sitting down waiting for me. They waited for me the whole day because no one called me. So I went back to the director to the office and I asked the secretary.
When was this?
During those periods, about the period that I'm just talking about.
Which period was that?
Maybe if I remember the year.
Yeah. It was during the MPP era.
Sure.
You see, so after everything, they did not. The director sat down, waited for me, and I never appeared because the people who were supposed to call me, they did a decent because the money is being shared. And it's not shared to only people at the bottom. It goes to the top. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are talking about a cartel. Do you understand? And this one person cannot fight this. I fought it and went to the director. The director asked for a meeting, and the people, they came together and told the director, they've called me, I refuse to come. The director sat down for 4 hours. I never appeared. They closed the meeting. The following day, shockingly, I went there to ask that what is happening. They said yesterday they called a meeting, you never came. I called the one that they said chairman. I said, I heard that yesterday you had him. He said, they waited for you. I said, but who was supposed to inform me? Do you get me? When I heard, so this ones, it's not like you go forward, but because it is a cartel, it becomes difficult for you to be able to fight. So what I'm saying is that the attack on students must stop. That's not the way to go. If we are trying to stop examination malpractices, we can do it. And it is not the students who are the perpetrators. It is other people. It is other people. They can be teachers, they can be ordinary people, but the government must stop hitting on our students. It is unfair. I heard the president yesterday talking about anytime children comes into place, we are supposed to put up measures to protect these children. Majority of the children that president said went and attacked somebody are children who have single parents. Their fathers ran away and left them. And the people who ran away and left them are the gender of President Mahama. They are his gender. And as a president, his main aim is to be concerned that the father figure not being present in the life of people who are deviants. We should find a solution for that.
All right. So what you are talking about, the angle that you're bringing in is that of the foundation. The kind of socialization. The kind of socialization structure that we have.
We are the perpetrators. We teach these children. These children, we teach them to become decent.
Very well. Let's do final comments because we need to move on to the issue of the unpaid salaries and the money that has been voted for solving the problem. Just very briefly before we go. I 15 seconds each.
Yeah, I think my friend made some comments. I was so surprised. I think we don't have to trivialize this issue. I mean, yes, we are here representing parties, but we don't have to trivialize any matter. I don't think the president encouraged students to only read past questions to go and write exams. I mean, that it's
when we say the president, we need to be specific. He was
former president.
He said the former president.
So then you had to be specific.
This doesn't even sail.
Very well.
Because no president would ask students to just read past questions. It implies that you read your books, you take the past questions as a guide to prepare yourself for exam. We have all done that. And to blame free SHS for this, I mean, sometimes the NDC is in government now. They cannot blame everything on free SHS. If they've come to meet free SHS, if they think there are problems with free SHS, they should deal with it, but not to associate every problem that they are facing with free SHS. I mean, if you look at how exams are organized elsewhere, I mean, it's completely different from how we do exams in this country. Even the mode of organizing exams has changed globally. I mean, sitting in the classroom with a sheet of paper, with pen and calculator for 2 hours writing exams is a complete way. I mean, we are teaching people to memorize, not to be able to be creative, and we need to move to that extent, but not to just blame that the former president said. I think we have to really
very well
organize our thoughts.
We will be joined very shortly.
Free SHS beneficiary.
Yeah, very shortly. Sure. Run out of time on this subject. You need to let's just quickly wrap up on this one.
You see, I must put that on record that we as a government has no time to blame anybody. Even the previous government, we have no time to blame you. But we tell you what you have done or what your president did, our former president did, that we want to remind you and tell you that this is what some of the things that psyched the students.
1 year on,
please,
and you're still blaming the past government.
Please, when you were talking, I was here. So these are some of the things that psyched the students, thinking that we could read only past questions to go and pass. And so when you go, and what you have read in the past question, it happens that there's a twist in the past the question, then you find yourself wanting. That is what I mean. Now, since we came to power, nobody has said that free education has done anything. The major thing we're talking about was feeding, and the issue of feeding now has been solved. I haven't heard any school at all talking about issues of feeding anymore. The president has given a directive that the buffer stock go into the market, get tomatoes, get pepper, and all those things. Make sure that the student gets those things. So issues of feeding are dead and gone. Accommodation, driftily, gradually, we are moving away from accommodation issue. The issue of double track system, moving away from double track system. So the system is in progress. The reset is in progress. And we are happy that those things are happening under our regime. Now,
I wanted to just say
land.
One second.
He's not wrapping up on the point. Yeah, very quickly, we need to go on. Yeah.
It was even better that Madam did not mention that a school is doing coping if she wasn't ready to mention the school's name here. Because I agree with what our former president said, that name and shame. When somebody is doing something that you think that the person is not doing the right thing, you name the person and shame the person. So as a parent, I believe that my sister here, if that's good to describe, I believe that my sister here is a parent. And if you are able to take care of your child, know that your child has to go through the proper means of becoming a better person in future.
Very well.
You are a parent. You need to
very well. A quick reaction to that. He was given feedback on the point.
Yes. Yeah. I think that JHS, people who are in JHS should not be writing exams before going to SHS.
Very well.
Okay. It is not right.
All right.
They are fundamental human right to go to SHS.
Yeah. Okay. That is a subject. That is a subject we are going to tackle. That's a subject we are going to tackle on another platform. Maybe organize a thought leadership event.
Even if that is the case, that discuss students do not have to even write exams. There is a modality. There is a system.
Those who wrote exams. No, it was those who wrote exams.
Let's hold on this. Let's hold on this point. Let's hold on.
Those countries know. Those countries know that they don't write exams before they go to SHS.
Very well. Very well. Come back. Thank you.
You got one in maths. You can't manufacture anything.
Thank you very much. We'll come back to this subject on another, at another date, because the subject about progression within our educational system is a whole subject on its own. But we'll be joined later as well on Zoom, virtually, by Zorano Eugene Sechofia, who's the national organizer for the University Graduate Teachers Association. Also, Hashmin Mohammed is the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education, and he would also be joining us on Zoom so that we bring much more perspective to this. But yesterday at the 54th National Delegates Conference of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, President John Dramani Mahama made some, very big revelations. Now, he brought in some big figures that were aimed at, solving to a very large extent the problem of unpaid salaries, to have a structure for salaries and also pensions of our teachers. We'll take a listen to him, and after that, we'll do some analysis.
We're not going to accept it. We'll negotiate with the new government. And so it took quite a while for the negotiations to take place. But eventually, we managed to get a spine that was working. It was not exactly straight, a bit crooked, but at least everybody got something, And so we started paying the arrears and all that, and we managed to get through all that before we left office in 2016. Since then, a few things have happened. The spine is very crooked now, and everybody is unhappy. Everybody is unhappy with the spine. And so, of course, TUC raised it with us and asked if we could look at the whole salary structure again. And I can say that we're very willing to do that so that we're able to remunerate people better so that they can give off their best in terms of what we ask them to do. A few years ago, we did a new pension reform. Everybody was happy, tier 2, tier 3. It looks like the time has come for us to look at it again. And so again, TUC, as a leader of organized labor, raised it with us. And I told Comrade Joshua and his team that we're prepared to put together a working team to look at the whole pension reform and come up with some suggestions and see how we can improve it so that everybody is happy and feels secure going into retirement.
President John Dramani Mahama there, and the last part of his submission during his speech just went to say that obviously there is a foundation that's going to be laid. A working team will be put together to ensure that they work the modalities of having the proper spine structure for salaries and also, pensions that will really ease off the troubles of our teachers, especially when they call time on their active careers? Well, let's get on Zoom and have a conversation with the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education. But before that, I'd like all of us to have a look at the brief demonstration that was done by the coalition of unpaid teachers. Now, 6,000 of these teachers are yet to be paid their salaries. Now, they did all of this while the conference was ongoing. We'll take a look at this, and then after that, we'll have a conversation with the spokesperson of the ministry.
After a series of protests held throughout 2025, the group says more than 6,000 teachers nationwide are being pushed into financial hardship due to administrative delays and the failure of the Ghana Education Service to issue the required staff identification cards. According to the coalition, many of its members have reported to post between 10 and 15 months, but have received payment for only 2 months of work. Enoch Paul Ativo is the lead convener of the coalition.
We firmly call on the government of Ghana, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service to urgently address the following through this press briefing. 1. Payment of all outstanding salary arrears, all remaining staff identification numbers. 3. Correction of assumption of duty dates. 4. The rectification of errors in ranks, points, and management units. 5. Inclusion of missing names on both the master and the revalidation lists. 6. Validation of teachers who have staff identification numbers but remain unvalidated. And finally, payment of arrears to validated teachers whose outstanding salaries have not been captured.
He noted that the salary arrears are critical to their survival, as many members are currently grappling with severe financial difficulties.
We urgently need our outstanding salaries to settle accumulated debts, pay our rent, cover healthcare expenses, and meet our basic living needs amid the mounting responsibilities we face. Failure to do so will leave us with no other alternative but to lawfully take to the streets to demonstrate and demand the justice we rightly deserve.
He further warned that legal action will be taken against the Ghana Education Service in accordance with labor laws if the arrears are not cleared by the end of January.
The legal action aspect that we are considering is what we find in the labor laws of Ghana. Okay, I've forgotten the article. It's not at my disposal yet. But when you employ somebody, it's a contract, an agreement. And if you don't pay the person for a number of months, the person has the right to follow the legal procedures to go to court for his or her issues to be addressed.
The coalition is urging swift government intervention to prevent further hardship among affected teachers as concerns continue to grow over the delayed salary payments. For Joy News, Fatal Bayaga, Accra.
And here in the studio, my name is Nathaniel Atto. Would have a conversation with the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education, Hashmin Mohammed. Hashmin, good morning, and thanks for joining us here on the show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Very well, Hashmin. Now, you heard from the representative of the coalition of unpaid, teachers. Now, this is coming just on the heels of a big announcement that was made by the president regarding what investment will be made in paying these salaries. Now, the question then will be why this number of 6,000 teachers who still are reeling in the difficulty of having unpaid salaries?
Well, thank you very much for having me. First of all, let me say it is not the deliberate intention of the Ministry of Education or the Minister or government to frustrate these newly recruited teachers. These are challenges that the current minister has come to inherit. Some of the teachers had problems with their staff ID card, Some were also issued with fake appointment letters. Yeah. But with the cooperation of some of the teachers and then the Ghana Education Service, we have been able to take them through the process to address some of the problems. And like I said, it is not the intention of the Ministry of Education to frustrate them after rendering service to the nation. And when it comes to the compensation of teachers, it is not only the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Education. There are other partners who are involved or other stakeholders who are involved. The Controller and Accountant General Department, and then the bigger ministry itself, the Ministry of Finance. So the ministry is liaising with other relevant stakeholders to address the issue. However, some of them, we have two categories of teachers who find themselves in this situation. There were some who were issued with fake letters, and those category of teachers, investigations were carried out, and then the GES realized that they do not have their records. And some too, there were another group who had issues with their staff ID cards and then other related issues. And they have been taken through the process. And very soon, the ministry is working with the Minister of Finance to have their issues addressed.
All right. Now, for anybody who is within the fray of the teachers who have not been paid, their focus definitely will be timelines and things that are guarded by specific time. Now, based on what you know from within and the work that is being done, as you've told us, what time frame are we looking at? Because they're also threatening legal action, which is something which is available to them as regards the Constitution and what it provides regarding where you can go and seek redress.
Well, this issue can only be addressed by on-case basis. Yes, there's, like I rightly mentioned, there are some category of teachers who have been working for a very long time but have not been compensated for the number of months maybe they have work. And then there are some they had issues with their appointments. They were taken through administrative
and on that,
to correct their appointment. Yeah. And on the face of their appointment stated the start date of their appointment, and they have been compensated accordingly to the start date of their appointment.
Now, briefly about the issue of fake appointment letters. Now, this is criminal, and I'm just wondering what immediate step has been taken to investigate and get to the bottom of the matter so that those who will be penalized in accordance to the law, are penalized.
I think the Office of the Special Prosecutor is investigating it. They are working on it. We do not have much details about it until the office finished with their work. So that aspect, I do not want to go there. I think very soon the Office of the Special Prosecutor will submit their report, and then maybe prosecution will take place. But
very well.
If the appointment is fake, it will not find space in the records of the Ghana Education Service.
Very well. Point well made. But also in terms of volumes and the vastness of this new problem, what are the numbers we're looking at? I mean, in terms of those who had these fake appointment letters?
I do not immediately have the data on this fake appointment letters, but what I can only report to you is that the numbers are big, and then the investigation is still ongoing.
Very well, Hashmin. Now, we'll do some more, but let me just get a quick reaction from the national organizer of the University Graduate Teachers Association, Zoranu Sechofia. Zoranu, thank you for joining us on Prime Morning. Now, you've heard from the ministry. There was an announcement made by the president. One way or the other, you do not find yourselves captured within that. Now, you've heard from the spokesperson of the ministry. Does that give any sort of calm nerves, if I may put it that way, for now?
All right, so good morning and good morning to your cherished listeners. Before I begin, Article 24, Clause 1 of the Ghanaian Constitution says that every person shall have the right to work under satisfying, safe, and healthy conditions.
Very well.
That is the clause we stand on. This is our economic right as Ghanaian citizens. For how long should that continue? That we would have to wait for them to tell us when they will work on our processes and our arrears for us. He talked about fake appointments.
Yeah, Zorano, before you continue, can you just adjust yourself a little bit? Your image is a little imposing. Can you step back a little bit? We'll be glad. All right. Very well. Very well. Thank you.
All right. So he spoke about fake appointment. But I want to also remind him of the fact that somewhere last year, in March, the ministry asked us to do for validation where they'll check through all your documents to know whether you've been duly validated or you have the required documents to be employed. And we did that since March. So for how long should it take for them to see the bad ones from the good ones? We are demanding that, just as we had a meeting with the minister early December, and he instructed the Ghana Education Service to work on our processes within the shortest possible time. We are asking that the remaining staff which should be released for us for those who have been validated. And on the payment of arrears, we are asking the ministry to also quickly engage the Ministry of Finance so that we can get our money paid to us before the end of the year. That is the timeline we are giving. Before salaries are paid.
Are you? Can you clarify this for me? Are you saying before the end of this month or before the end of the year? Which of them are you talking about? Can you?
So we are demanding that before 28th of January 2026, all our arrears should be paid to us, or a concrete communication should be given to us as to when they will pay us our arrears. Because as we speak, they have not engaged us as to when they are going to pay or what is happening to us because of our arrears.
Now, Zorano, can you also confirm if your communication post the public event, which was the demonstration, the brief demo, or the mini demonstration, if we may put it that way, have you put your communication through the official channels at the ministry?
Okay, so in my submission, I made it known that early December last year, we had a meeting with the minister, and we made our concerns known to him. At the meeting with the minister, he made us aware that he will liaise with the Ministry of Finance for the fast tracking of our arrears, or as far as our arrears issues are concerned. With the Ghana Education Service, we no longer have any form of communication with them because the PRO for the Ghana Education Service has dissolved the platform which we communicate with them. So they have also refused to engage us. So it's the ministry that, to some extent, give us hearing.
Have you also made any attempts away from the WhatsApp platform to get feedback from the Ghana Education Service?
Yes. So when November salary was paid, I went with some of my colleagues to the Ghana Education Service. If you will recall, Jacqueline reported on Joy News that we were demanding for arrears in early December, and that day, GBS instructed that we should be arrested simply because we've come there in our numbers to know the status of our staff levies and our salaries. And we were nearly arrested. The divisional police commander for the ministry wanted to arrest us. But because the media came in, we were not arrested. So we are demanding that GBS should give us a proper means of communicating with them.
All right, very well. Now, let me just quickly get a reaction from Hashmin. Hashmin, I mean, you've heard from the national organizer. He says that they have communicated that they want this matter resolved by the 27th of this month. That means that we're just under 3 weeks away from this particular deadline. What is the reaction to this particular demand that's being made? And is there any assurance that or a possibility based on the processes of the ministry that this can be solved by that time?
Well, like I rightly mentioned, the issue is not the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Education alone. There are other relevant stakeholders involved, the Finance Ministry and then the Controller and Accountant General Department. We need to engage all of them and to see how best we can address the issue. But we can assure them, what we can assure them is that it is not the intention of the ministry to put any teacher in a situation where if he or she feel uncomfortable to perform his or her duty.
Very well, very well. We're very grateful to you. We're very grateful to you, Hashmin. Hashmin Mohammed is the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education, and Zorano Eugene Sechofia is the national organizer for the University Graduate Teachers Association. Well, let's come to you here. Now, you listen to all the submissions that are being made, and you realize that there is a common problem, and the common problem being the processes at our state institutions, our ministries and our agencies and departments, the administrative processes that we have to go through. Now, from what we hear, this is a multi-ministerial or multi sector approach. So there are some other ministries who are involved in all of this. The Finance Ministry, for instance, and you look at the load of work there, the urgent ones. This one is an urgent one as well. But then you'd get there, and because of administrative processes, it'll take a longer time. What then do we do as a society about these administrative processes at our ministries and our agencies? Because that clearly, from what has been said here, is a factor.
First of all, Otto, first of all, I want to say that teachers, or I want to best describe them as our students' modelers. We have no doubt, there's no debate about what they do for this country. We know they are our role model. I mean, they are our students' modelers. They work assiduously to make sure that our students become good in future. I want to say that we are not saying that things that are happening in these few days or within these few days is not a matter of concern. It's a great matter of concern, just like the spokesperson has mentioned. And I believe the ministry under Honorable Haruna Idrisu is working assiduously to make sure that these things are vetted, these things are being kept in their right position. There's a problem that needs to be solved. The problem is what the PRO has just mentioned about fake appointments, and also some people having issues with their staff IDs. And these are all administrative actions that needs to be taken. I would say that there should be a speed to that effect. There should be a very fast way of making sure that these salaries are paid. And I believe under the stewardship of Honorable Haruna Idrisu, these things will be settled. We came to meet all sort of mess in this country, but gradually we are turning things around and making sure that things are being done the proper way. I think when we came, we met about 13,000 nurses that were given appointment letters but weren't given financial clearance. Today, as we speak, it has become a thing of the past. So we have no doubt that under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and under the stewardship of Honorable Haruna Idrisu, these things will be settled. These things will definitely be settled in due time. I know that the teachers are going through a lot when it comes to issues of finance. That is why I encourage the Ministry of Education to be quick enough to make sure that these things are settled as soon as possible so that we can have our way out of these things and we can move to the other things that we have to speak about them. But
very well.
Clearly,
and this issue of labor, agitation and strikes and all of these, they seem never to go away. And one way or the other, these problems just keep reoccurring. Now, he is once again laying the blame on the past.
Not at all. Please, Ato, no.
Yeah, it's you said it's inherited.
Yes,
so,
of course. Yeah. Of course, it's.
So if it's inherited, where has it come from?
Yeah, it's actually inherited.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say that let's blame some governments or though something wasn't done properly under their regime. And like I said earlier on, that we have no time to blame anybody. When the right thing has to be done, we do the right thing and we go away. this issue of teachers not being paid, like he mentioned, is a matter of issues that is relating to other institutions. That is not a one-day wonder. It has to be a matter that would go through procedures and processes to make sure that things are being settled. If appointment letters, fake appointment letters weren't given, this might not have happened. And so what I would encourage the teachers is that to be patient. We understand their plight, we understand the trauma and financial issues they're going through, but that is not our willing. That is not our will that it should happen that way. There are things that we are reforming. There are reformative actions that have been taking place, and I'm happy they know that things are being done. There are actions that have been taken by the Ministry of Education that have been done to make sure that they are being paid their monies, they are being paid their arrears on whatever. What I think they should do is to keep making follow-ups, even in the silent. I'm not sure they have gone to the Ministry of Education peacefully, written to the Ministry of Education peacefully, and nothing has been done. Maybe it's the time. It's just a call to fast-track the issues that are happening there. And I believe under the stewardship of Honorable Adrosu, things will be done properly.
Very well, very well. Dr. Ilu, let me come to Dr. Ilu.
We've heard the President of the country, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and whatever he said at the meeting that they held yesterday. We've heard everything. We know that there are some reassurance that are coming for teachers, that are coming for pensioners. So we are just looking forward to making sure that those things happen in due time.
Dr. Ilu, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of these teachers. I mean, we've spoken to the state agency involved, which is the ministry. The ministry say these are the challenges it's being worked on. It is a collaboration also between the ministry and the Ministry of Finance. They are also threatening to go on strike. If you were in their shoes, what would be the best approach to this matter, considering everything that has been done correspondence-wise up to this point?
Well, thank you so much. Let me first of all say that, you know, when we are talking about teachers, we have to be very circumspect, because teachers are the foundation of our country. They say that if you are whoever you are today, you should say thank you to a teacher. So we are talking about people who are very core to our national development. It is so surprising that people who have worked so hard through their training and got posted to teach for 12 months, in some cases 16 months,
with fake appointment letters,
haven't gotten any of their salaries paid. This is not just an issue of salary arrears. It's an issue of failure of our state to honor its promise to these young people of our country who are desirous of serving in the capacity as teachers in our country, teaching our young ones, in some cases in very remote areas of our country where most of us might not want to go. And so if we want to play with teachers, we are basically playing with the foundation of our country. These teachers have taken up the responsibility to even take care of themselves for 1 month without salary. Just imagine you and I work for 1 month without salary. If you ask all the government appointees who have just resumed their positions in the last 1 year, how many of them haven't received their salary? You might find none.
It's not true. It's not true.
Well,
there are. I can give you examples.
I don't want.
There are many appointees in this government
that haven't received salary.
They have side issues.
I don't want to. I don't even want to dwell on that. I don't even want to dwell on that.
They have side issues.
But the point that we must make is that this is not the first time we are seeing this issue happening. In the last NDC government, that's around 2013, 2014, we had similar situation, where teachers taught for 10 months, in some cases 20 months, and were not paid even a penny.
But this is a rollover, Doc. This is a rollover. This problem we're facing here is a rollover. This was inherited.
Yes. I'm coming.
Are we doubting that because you're throwing us back to
I'm just trying to give a historical
antecedent
of this.
That is fine, but what you also need to admit is that the current issue at hand is one that's come as a result of what has happened in the last.
But of course, we need to get a history to this issue so that
very well. So in giving us the history, come all the way and also mention the fact that in the last 2-3 years, it has resulted
government is a continuum, and so we sometimes believe that we have to proceed, whoever takes over government. They have been posted since in some cases, they've been protesting since 2015. It wasn't this government took over.
This 2015? No,
2025, sorry, 2025. They've been protesting, they've been making demands. And when I look at some of the things they are calling for, I think it's a complete failure of a state and state players. Because some of the things they are asking for is not only the salary arrears. The salary arrears is just one issue. But as I listened to them yesterday, one of the things they are asking for is even staff IDs have not been issued. The second thing is correction of assumption of duty date. The third issue is inclusion of mission names in master and revalidated lists. And the fourth issue is errors in ranks, points, and management units. And the last issue they mentioned is those that have not been validated.
So clearly as well, there is also, and we've identified this as administrative issues, but all of this has also come as a result of the fake letters that were written, the letters that were written, and then also administrative issues which need to be addressed, isn't it?
I mean, if it takes 1 year to address these administrative issues while people are teaching in rural communities, it tells where our priorities are. And of course, let's make this point clear. The framing of fake letters to this argument is just a way of checking responsibility, right? Because these teachers have been validated. And if you listen to the PRO, they have gone through validation. So the framing of these...
no, it's being corrected. Some are having, according to what he told us, not all of them.
What of those?
That's the explanation he gave us.
Okay, so those who have been corrected, what happens to that?
Well, so according to him, there is a number that has been corrected, and they are going through the clearance process with the ministry. That's what he told us.
This is just the way our government always respond to issues of labor.
Okay, your government.
Is to basically shift their position at every moment they are being caught doing the wrong thing. I mean, it is even against the labor laws to employ somebody for 15 months. I mean, sometimes I wonder how these young people manage to survive in this country at this particular moment.
You've raised a very important point.
I mean, let me just land that. Let me just land. I'm going to show you a paper that was written about Ghana education. It's titled Teachers in Ghana, Issues of Training, Remuneration and Effectiveness. It's published in the International Journal of Education Development. And one of the key findings of this paper...
Who's the author?
The author is George M. Osei. I don't know where he is, but that's the author. It's published and you can find it online. The key finding of this paper argues that financial pressure on teachers to find other sources of remuneration militates against their capacity to act as agents of change in the rapidly reforming Ghanaian state. So...
That's a different subject.
No. It's an issue of remuneration. And if you put a teacher to teach in a rural community for 14 good months without pay, what kind of results do you expect at the end of the period? And that's why we are seeing the outcomes in our BEC and in our senior high school dwelling down, becoming very poor. What that means is that the teacher has low morale, first of all, and of course, there's a temptation to absent themselves from classroom.
Very well.
Because they have to find other ways to feed themselves and their families.
Very well.
The point I want to make is that we are not just talking of individual teachers who are suffering, but in Ghana, when somebody's end, it's a family. So we are talking about 6,000 families in this country who are suffering daily and cannot meet their daily needs because government and state institutions are blaming each other. It is not the fault of the teacher that there's ineffectiveness within the state institutions. They should be able to coordinate. If there's a coordinating failure, it's because people are sitting on their jobs. It's not the problem of the teacher.
Thank you, Dr. Ayilu. Madam Nabla, let's wrap this conversation up this morning with your thoughts, especially from the social end of things. Now, Dr. Ayilu has spoken about the reality on the ground, the social issues. Teachers are also human beings. They have families, and there's a ripple effect of this problem. Obviously, this is something that is a carryover or something that is a cumulative effect of things that have not been done right. But now we're looking at the reality on the ground so that our viewers can understand what it is, especially those who are drawn away from the reality, that teachers who go to work on a daily basis. And we've put some of the videos out of some of the interviews that we've had with some of these teachers. One teacher in the Manya area talking about how she's moved away from her family. She doesn't know anybody in the locality, so she has to go and rent a place, moves around sometimes on a motorbike. If it's not available, then it's between you and your God. And these are the realities that these teachers face on a daily basis. And so there's a trickle-down effect on our students and our pupils.
You see, I just want to support what Doug just said. I have been hard on teachers, but truth be told, I have kept my eye away from the difficulties that these teachers face. Just imagine being appointed for several months without pay, and they expect you to put in your best. There's a reason why the students did not perform. And I'm not just talking about the NDC, but the MPP, they are also part of it. When it comes to teachers, I see no reason why teachers in Ghana, their salaries will not be pegged to that of ministers. Because these are people who are supposed to teach our children to become important people for this country, to be able to manpower the services of this country and lead us to the place that we want to go. That's the 21st century. And so tell me the reason why we will give huge amount of salaries to ministers and our children, our teachers will be wallowing in abject poverty. I think that whatever cabinet ministers are taking, we should. I know that we don't have the money to do that, but then I think teacher salary, we should do something, because the hardship even within the teachers is too much. And I heard the spokesperson for the Ministry of Education come out to say that, and they were having fake appointment letters. And yet, when you ask him to tell you the number of fake appointment letters that are out of the 6,000, he could not tell you. This is to tell you about the incompetence of the Ministry of Education. Because they get up, whenever they are confronted with an issue, they look for a different issue to use as something to protect themselves. But once you are doing that, you forget that other people's lives are at stake. What would have prevented the Ministry of Education to come out to tell you that what we have done, we are sorry? The truth of the matter is that this and this and this is the reason. Because you can't tell us that it's fake certificate, fake appointment letters, when you can't tell us the number of people that are affected out of the 6,000. If truly we are human and we have humanly feelings in us, why don't you pay them and allow a probe to go into it, so that after you have done the probe, those that were having fake appointment letters, you ask them to refund the money. It's better you do that than to punish them with those who are holding fake appointment letters. So this is to tell you that whatever they have said is not true, and it was just something to cover up.
It's a
our teachers are suffering, is the truth, and they cannot perform. The children are not performing because the teacher have not eaten anything. Dr. Mahama told me something some time ago. He said when he completed Legon, that was in 1977, and then they was posted, the following month the salary was in. Somebody will tell you that the volumes of the people were not much. But today you have technology, they were not having technology. They did not have technology, and he was posted to a village. The following day, the salary was in. And today we are claiming that we are in a modern environment with all the technology and other things.
Dr. Mahama meaning the former presidential candidate?
No, Dr. Edward Nasir Mahama.
Edward Nasir
Mahama.
Of course.
He told me that. So he's talking about the incompetence of people coming into government without thinking about the ordinary people. People come into the position, they have other things, and the people of Ghana are not part of the reason why they are in. So when they are sitting down, they sit on people's salaries. Doctor told me some time ago where he was supposed to get something that belonged to him. And then one day he traveled and came back and bought something for the accountant. And he said, you are entitled to this. So if he did not give him something, so you wouldn't have told him that he's entitled to this and that. What are they doing at the ministries? So the truth is that you could see what the spokesperson for the Ministry of Education said. It doesn't just hold water.
But Bashiru, you smiled when Madam Nabla spoke about putting the salaries of teachers at par with that of our ministers.
So,
is it in disagreement or agreement?
Not at all. I don't even want to go to that aspect of it because the intention might just to be doing propaganda on that. But
why would you
please,
do
propaganda? Please.
How can you do propaganda with
propaganda? Please.
Because my government will do that when we come to power. We are not doing propaganda.
You were here when I was. You were speaking when I was quiet. So please. So I don't want to go to that aspect of it. But now, if you rightly heard what the PRO said, 6,000. Even on the television you are watching here, 6,000 people are being affected. Those are the numbers.
No, he never said it.
Oh, please.
But please,
No.
You ask and the person said he doesn't know.
Please. Did you ask that question?
He asked that question out of the 6,000.
He asked, no. The question he asked was that if they know there are fake appointment letters, what are they doing about those people?
Never.
No,
he never said that.
No,
he never said. You see, he's sitting here, he's not listening.
Please. I asked about the number.
You were not listening.
In the first place.
He said he asked. Why?
I wrote it down.
In the first place.
I'm telling you.
In the first place.
He didn't know.
The scream has told you that about 6,000 teachers are being affected.
Yes.
So if 6,000 students, do you even have to ask that question again?
No.
No, you
want to tell me that all the 6,000.
When you were speaking, I was here.
The ministry is even
All right, Bashiru, let's put this in perspective.
Good.
Now, 6,000 teachers
Have been affected.
have been affected by unpaid salaries.
Yes.
Now,
Not for fake
it was established
appointments.
based on their own accounts
Of course.
that there is a problem with some of the appointment letters.
Yes.
It means then that it is a certain fraction
Yeah.
of the 6,000 that have fake appointment letters. It's not the full 6,000.
Of course.
Exactly.
Now, after that, I asked how many of them so we can ascertain the gravity of the problem. He says that at the moment, he cannot immediately give a figure.
Yes.
So that's what it is.
So now, what we know is that the 6,000 people are being affected by several issues, right? Which of course were being mentioned by the PRO.
No, 2020.
You understand? So once they were mentioned and we all know that these are the issues affecting them, the issue of how many are being affected by issue of fake appointment letters and not being able to answer them is not an issue. What we need is the teachers being able, administrative work needs to be done for the teachers to be paid. Finito. Teachers now who have worked for about 15 months and are not being paid, their concern is how the administrative processes will be done, making sure that we'll be able to pay them in due time. In fact, they have given a deadline of, I think,
27th of this month.
25th or 27th of this month, that those salaries should be paid with arrears. Now, we are saying that we should be able to see how the Ministry of Education will work towards making sure that those salaries will be paying within those time. And so we are saying that all other things being equal, it is not only the Ministry of Education that is responsible for doing these things, but them, they are the head of these issues. There are other institutions that are supposed to come together to make sure that those ones are being settled. Now, what is more than issues of fake appointment letters? That an MPP government comes to issue fake appointment letters, and you are not talking about that.
That you cannot account
Please. You come to issues of fake appointment letters, you are not talking about issues of fake appointment letters. And when we're talking about incompetency, who does issues of fake appointment letters and will not be described as an incompetent person? Somebody that has come to solve the issue of you issuing fake appointment letters is the one you are describing as being, how do you call it, incompetent. You are not being fair to yourself and you are not being fair to the listeners. But what I say, that we know that the ministry is working towards paying those 6,000 teachers that are not being paid. At this point in time, our focus as a government is not these diversionary tactics that people are trying to measure us with it. No, these are diversionary tactics.
Very well.
We are focused under the stewardship of Honorable Henry Idrusu we will pay all these nurses
You know
in
something?
due time.
You know
teachers.
something?
Yes,
You know something? You know something?
Yeah, yeah.
These inferior communist tactics that the NDC use. Let me tell you something. They've told themselves, they are communicators, that wherever they are in a program and somebody says something, they should say, you are lying, you are lying. They think by saying that the listeners will believe them. But let me tell you something.
That is why I didn't say you are lying.
No, listen.
You are just being diversionary.
Listen, he's telling us that instead of us to be supporting the teachers so that they will pay them, we should be talking about the fake news they have brought out that there are unpaid salaries, yet they've not arrested anybody to put in prison.
Unpaid salary. How do you arrest somebody? Who will go and arrest somebody?
The fake, they gave fake appointment. That's a
and they say the matter is at OSP. Didn't you hear that?
The matter is
what you
publish the 419.
The OSP?
No,
the OSP
publish the names of the people who are into it. Let them be at the police station.
Into what?
Yeah, so we're told that the OSP is investigating.
You weren't listening.
They're at a certain stage.
Those are
definitely ask the questions.
Listen, communist inferior tactics is
very.
who
are you going to arrest if you haven't made investigation?
We will ask the question.
For 1 year, you've been in power.
If you haven't made investigation.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. You see, we will address it in due course. These are questions we will ask in due course because we've been told that the OSP's office is investigating. Obviously, at certain points of investigations based on strategy and security, sometimes names are not put out immediately.
Absolutely.
So we're waiting. We will definitely.
For 1 year, you've been in power.
We will definitely get
gentlemen and ladies, it's all about. They don't have the money to pay.
I know.
I mean, this is all about money. It's not about some fake things.
Those are
all about money.
You are very sure that government doesn't have the money to pay.
They don't have the money to pay.
But you admit that there are fake appointment letters.
What about the 214 million?
How are you able to admit
that there are fake appointment letters?
Can we have one person speak at the time? Thank you.
There's something we call sincerity in public communication.
Very well.
When you are confronted with an issue, it is important to be candid in your communication. If you have 6,000 teachers who are unpaid, and for the whole 2025, now we are in 2026 January, and you are using the argument that there are some fake appointment letters as a reason why for 14 good months these teachers have not been paid. It clearly tells you that this is how they want to frame the issue, bring in these fake appointment letters as a big issue. You can see how he's making a very big issue out of that. You can see that when you spoke with the PRO, all he spoke about was these fake issues. When you ask him,
that's not the only. Let's be fair to the PRO.
Absolutely.
When I questioned him on various issues, he brought that one up as well.
Look,
but he spoke about other things. Yes. We have to be. Let's be.
What other things? So for 1 year,
let me tell you one other thing.
You can't issue ID card.
We're running out of time. Would have to get
just a second. One other thing he said was that those things are being corrected within 15 months.
Bashiru,
those things, some of them.
Kindly hold on. We're going to get on our console now and
have like we are sitting and look.
For 1 good year, you are using 6,000 workers.
Bashiru, can you hold on?
I can do that work today. The whole of today.
Can we hold on?
Yes.
Would like to go on our platform, have a look at some of the messages that are coming through. And remember, the show is about you as well. So it's important that we have your thoughts as well. All right, so this is... all right, now this message is coming from Abdul Ganiu Mankarigu from the Savannah region. Dear teachers, do not trust a single word from John Mahama, not even one. The 2025 promise to employ 50,000 teachers has failed. It now appears that these so-called recruitments exist only on paper and not in reality. What the fire officers did was completely wrong. They owe the young man an apology. No civilian should be treated in such a manner and allowed to suffer without consequences. Why would officers assault a civilian? Even if he did something wrong, there were lawful ways to handle the situation. He could have been arrested properly or invited by the appropriate authorities. Two wrongs don't make a right. Now, I believe that Abdul Ghani was talking about the incident of Samuel, the journalist from, the journalist who was assaulted by the fire officers in the Kaswa market fire story. Now, this is from teacher Kujo Intepa in Yinasuso. This message reads, the NDC seems complacent when it comes to the 2028 general elections. However, it's likely to shock them to the marrow if they fail to conduct critical analysis. Now, what happens if President Mahama exits after the current term and they hold primaries? No one can expect to hear more. Okay, we shouldn't be using this kind of language. Okay, I would not carry on with this particular message. Can we do the next message, please? Let's be very measured in the kind of language we also use in our messages. So, Mr. Host, we'll let the woman continue without mentioning names. What kind of journalism is this? While a teacher is revising, his student is doing TikTok challenge, while his mother is seriously blaming teachers. Every kind of human being grows. Can you kindly add your name to it? And I did ask the question about naming and shaming, and I've given Madam Nabla feedback as well regarding the information and what she, I believe, should have done in that particular instance. I'm sure that if you watch the show and you'd be fair, you'd bring that aspect as well. So I've asked the relevant question you are talking about already. Kindly send the message the next time. This one is from Master Planner Jr., a policy analyst in Kintampo. Teachers have worked for close to 1 year, but paid only 2 months' salary. The same President Mahama in his first term as president, 2013 to 2017, paid teachers for only 3 months after working for 3 years. It appears the NDC, especially President Mahama, care less about teachers. It's very sad and disheartening. Mr. President, please pay the teachers their salaries. They legally earned it. Thank you very much. So this is from Master Junior Planner in Kintampo. Thank you very much for that message. All right, can we scroll up a little bit so that we have the better understanding of this particular message? All right, so now, this is a very long one. Let me just do a little bit of it. And please kindly summarize as well, if you can, for us. The growing indiscipline in pre-tertiary schools, a nation's wake-up call. Indiscipline in Ghana's pre-tertiary schools has become one of the most troubling social issues of our time. From basic schools to senior high schools, the case of truancy, drug abuse, disrespect for teachers, vandalism, examination malpractice, bullying, and sexual misconduct are increasingly reported. This trend is not accidental. It's the product of weakening parenting systems and a political culture that too often rewards indiscipline and impunity. For too long, schools have been unfairly blamed for moral decay among students. In reality, discipline begins at home, and many parents abandon their responsibility to instill basic values such as respect, honesty, self-control, and obedience. All right, so this is part of a long message that has been sent to us this morning, and it's coming from Honorable Anas NK. Thank you very much. Meshak Asante in Amasamang says, it's more informally known as Amasamang, but it's Amasamang. It's a very big shame that the micro-minority MPs led a frustrated Kojo Nkrumah. They were trying so hard to tarnish the image of lawyer Jamefi, but it didn't work. I think the politics is about lies and propaganda. Okay, so this, I believe, is part of the conversations about Gold Board and whether or not they have made any losses. That was an issue that was discussed at the weekend with our colleagues on Newsfile and here as well on Saturday morning. So what we're discussing here this morning is our teachers. We'll do a few more messages and then we can wrap up this segment right here. Now, good morning. I'm Gabi from Suhum. Most teachers have not been upgraded. I'm a teacher myself and I applied for upgrading in 2023, but till date, it has not been done. And I know a lot of teachers who face the same problem. It's even collapsing our homes, please, and delaying our lives. Some teachers upgrading has taken 6 years. There's a friend I know. All right, thank you very much, Gabi in Suhum, for that message. There's another one here. Kwame Acidity from Afuachirinsua says, in fact, many Ghanaians believe their living conditions are better now than the previous government. Happy, is it a birthday message to the to Obatampa Charity Ghana, the Ahafo Regional Minister? Okay, all right, very well. Thank you very much, Kwabena Acidity. All right, so let me just quickly do this one and then we can wrap up the segment. This comes from Isaac from Ho. The propaganda from NDC is too much. They have done this under the first regime of President Mahama by paying only 3 months arrears for teachers who worked for more than 2 years. Now, it took the previous government to pay most of these arrears to the victims. They have come back to continue what the old agenda is by paying only a month arrears for the teachers. It's actually 2 months who have worked for a year. It doesn't make sense for employing people and some have received full salary and then you turn around shortchanging the larger group by reissuing clearance letters with different dates. This simply means their colleagues who are lucky enough will be promoted before them. Okay, so this is a message from Isaac from Ho. Isaac, we're very grateful to you. Thanks to all of those who sent their messages. Apologies to those whose messages couldn't be read. We'll do better when we come back tomorrow so we can, send in the messages. Also, kindly make sure that you write a name under the message and also be brief. And language is very, very important. We don't encourage, insulting language on the show and on the platform as well. So a quick run through, a minute each. Final thoughts this morning, Bashir.
Yeah, so I want to say that the current NDC government under the stewardship of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is focused on developing this country, is focused on resetting this country, making sure new things come our way, making sure unprecedented things come our way. We are committed and know that teachers are very vital in our developmental process. We know they are our progress, and we will do all what it will take to make sure that we pay teachers in due time. And like I said earlier on, under the stewardship of Founder Idrisu, we know things will be well. Teachers should be patient. We understand their plight. We understand the matters that are going on. We'll couple that, their payment with issues of reduction of fuel and other things. We know that the best time will come for everyone in Ghana to enjoy. But for now, let's continue to console the teachers that have been paid, and they will be paid in due time. That is what I can say for now.
Bashir Montana, thank you. Thank you so much.
Don't be worried.
Atto, the name is Atto. It's,
thank you. Atto,
it's a Ghana name. It's ATTOH.
Yes. So don't be worried about issues of questions that people are saying that you haven't asked questions on those things. We know that as things goes on now, I myself and you knows that things are being done properly as it is now. Any propaganda attempt by anybody to spew any propaganda won't work, because the working government is working properly as we want it to do.
Thank you.
Nobody, look, teachers are complaining, of course. These unpaid teachers are complaining, but in due time, they will be paid to shame anybody. And I know, this MPP man, I think he was also at the, is it Kwame Pianim or yeah, Kwame Pianim.
Yes.
He said something that President Mahama should do whatever that he has. He should make sure that the issues of teachers are being worked on well so that they can shame the MPP government. He himself knows that the MPP government did not work assiduously in the interest of the Ghanaian people, in the interest of...
What I remember him saying was that, I didn't hear him use the word shame. What I remember him saying was, at the rate at which he's going, which is very positive, it could earn them 80% votes, which is dangerous.
No, he said that, and I can play. Anyway. So,
okay.
my sister,
Bashir, thank you.
Said here, be comfortable in your discourse. My brother, be comfortable, because as it is now, myself, when you buy fuel at the good rate, you used to drive a VIT to Joy Prime. But now you are driving. I drive
electric car, so I don't buy fuel.
No, not you. My brother here. You are not driving Tundra because of the less fuel prices that you have now.
Okay. That's would want to ride in that Tundra later on a lighter note. But yes,
I think to wrap up, I think it's not about blaming and shaming anybody.
Sure.
It's about performing your responsibility as a citizen, or as a state worker, as a government, or as a ministry. And so it's not about doing it to shame the opposition party, but doing your work as it were. This issue is biting the NDC so hard because of the promises that the president made to teachers run up to the 2024 general elections, which include rolling teachers on a rolling basis and promising a lot to teachers. And that's what they are just...
What are the lots? You don't mention the lots.
Teachers are asking for the lot that they promised them, and they found themselves wanting. The things going forward is that the government must immediately pay these teachers their money. And not just pay them the money, but with interest. I think so. I think we must begin to take responsibility for inactions of state staff, for not doing their work properly. And those involved in this payroll organization, in GES, must be sanctioned. I think if we begin to let people take responsibility for their work, people will sit up when it comes to these kind of things. So I think people should not just see it as a normal delays, but people should be sanctioned. There are new ways of organizing payroll in such a way that they are automatic. Once the teacher is enrolled, there is already financial clearance, then they are paid immediately in the next month of their work. And we have a smooth sail. We should not treat teachers as if they are just any group of people. Have you ever heard the military come to the media to request for their arrears in terms of salary for 10 or even 1 month? Have you ever heard of the police? Have you ever heard of that? So we have to be serious. My father has been a teacher for many years, so I know the role teachers play.
Very well.
And these young people have young families. If you don't get them right, they are unable to support their families. So I think we should not just look at this issue as politics, as he is doing here, but as a national issue that we must address. And it should not just be recurrent. Every year we have this issue. Every year we have this issue. When are we taking responsibility as people? When are we stopping the politics and addressing the concerns of working Ghanaians, working class, teachers, nurses, who all the time are in the news for the wrong reasons? And we keep giving them excuses.
Very well. Very well.
I'm sure
Doc,
the teachers have advised themselves. I will advise them strongly that they should take a legal action to demand compensation in terms of interest on the delays. I think I encourage them. I mean, Mr. President and PR, if you are listening to me, I think this is your opportunity to take a legal action and test the labor laws and get what is due you. Because it's high time we respect teachers for who they are.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Raymond Ayilu. In your party, the third page of the Chronicle today says that the Dombo family have endorsed, they have endorsed the former Greek minister, Brian Echampo, ahead of the primaries. It's something we'll discuss at a later date. It says that the WA East and WA West chairman, said that. But, in these days, especially when you have people coming to refute these claims and all of that, we'll see how things go. Madam Nabla, your final thoughts.
Look, I think it's their right to endorse any candidate. I think for most of the candidates that are running for the flag bearership contest are fine gentlemen. I think our party is one of the parties that always have men of integrity, men of stature, men of courage. And so for us as a party, we see this as an internal contest where the best comes out of us.
Very well. And the best will come out on January 31. Very well.
I've listened to the two of them. I think he has made a strong submission on the educational side. I wanted to also talk about our children, that as we end, let's make sure that children are supposed to be trained by parents, they are supposed to be trained by teachers, and then our religious leaders. When all these three factors are working to the betterment for the child will become a very great person. The child will not go to school to beat, they won't go to school to beat their teachers. They will not do that. So I'm thinking that President Mohammed's speech once again, the way he attacked the students, it wasn't right. We condemn what they did, but as a president, he should have come out with a solution.
Did President
and he never came out with a solution. He said they should arrest. Why did they even use settlement? They should have arrested them and blah blah blah. He said that.
Arrest who?
The students. He said they should have allowed the law to work instead of using settlement.
But suggesting that the law should work is nothing wrong with it.
Listen,
so how is this?
It's good. Just as I was saying, most of these children, you haven't gone to their background to see where they came from. You, President Mohammed, your child will not do that. My child will not do that. Why are these children doing that? Majority of them are children who don't have their father figure in the house. Their parents leave home early, only their mother, and come back late. So when there are problems, let's look at the the root causes of problems before this inquiry.
My sister
especially the president.
My sister mentions all these things, but it's not able to mention even one solution to that problem.
Very well. I've mentioned it.
No, you haven't. You haven't.
I said that the
she says that we need to start looking at the foundation. Where all of this is coming from, because
when you look at our manifesto, we have categorically stated that when the PMP government comes into place, we will make sure that we give allowances to struggling single mothers to take care of these children. The president should have to provide a solution.
Unfortunately, we have to discuss this off air because our time is up.
Let me tell you something.
Thank you, Madam Nabla.
We know that whether the former vice president,
that was meant for him.
They are all descendants of the murder serpent of corruption.
And you know something? No.
That was meant for him. Gentlemen and ladies, this is how we wrap it up here. Thank you very much for being part of the show. We're still here on the show. We'll be bringing you some more. Trends comes up very shortly. We'll be taking you into all of the big stories trending. But we'll have to say a very big thank you to Bashira Mantana. Bashira Mantana is a member of the NDC's communication team. Dr. Ayilu is an economist and also a member of the MPP. And of course, Madam Nabla is Madam Janet Nabla is the presidential candidate of the PNP. We're very grateful to the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education for joining us with thoughts and some reactions, and also the Secretary of the Tertiary Teachers Association. We're very grateful to all of them. So more to come here on the show, but remember that Franco Trading is your leading mobile phone and accessories and electronic retail outlets. Now, the items you can purchase are vast, with various big brands including Nokia, Samsung, Apple, and many other smartphones ranging from 32 inches to 100 inches. So Franco air conditionings also are available from 1.5 horsepower to 2.5 horsepower. Chest freezers and refrigerators, washing machines, microwaves, blenders, generators, gas and electric stoves, CCTV cameras, and all these other electronic gadgets are available there at Franco Trading Enterprise. You can also get all your mobile phone brands and accessories from all the shops nationwide with 40% discounts on all these products. So you can just call 0246 422338 or 055 5939 311 or 0302 225651, or download the new Franco Trading app, Franco, on Google Play Store, or just visit the website at www.francotrading.com.